Salut Ethan et bienvenue au corps pour aujourd'hui. Alors mes petits, let's talk about today. Today we've looked at hotel reviews, given opinions. Today we're moving on to a different part of the speaking exam. We will be ordering a room in a hotel. So after today's lesson you'll be able to do that. Now the role play for the speaking exam, everyone says it's only 10 marks out of 70, sir. Absolutely, yes it is, but it's more than that because it's the very start of your speaking exam and therefore it's the examiner's first impression of you. So if you absolutely nail it and you get 10 out of 10 with a little bit of flair, which all of you should be able to do after the practice and support you'll get from your teachers, that will set the examiner off. Remember, the examiner is going to listen to at least 200 different speaking exams. So if your role play is solid and they give you full marks, because they mark as they go along, they think, okay, full marks on this, that was good. Then you go onto your picture card and then your presentation and the rest of it, they're going to be really impressed. So yes, it's only 10 marks, but it's worth so much more than that. Speaking exams, when we look at them and analyze them when they come back, bad starts affect the marks in every single category just because it's that impression in the examiner's head. So make sure we nail it. Now the picture card and the role play card are tough because you get them on the day, and I remember mine, Mrs. Harris is my year 11 teacher. I loved that, my form tutor as well for 5 years, and she says, Sean, here's your role play. You could look at it back then and prepare it like you guys can, but we didn't have as long as you, and it said you have left your coat in your hotel room. And I said, Miss, what's the word for I've left? And she goes, oh, I can't tell you, it's the day of your GCSE exam. I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? But I managed, j'ai perdu, I've lost my coat, and she absolutely loved that, and I nailed it. And I just remember thinking that was handy, thinking on my feet, and it gave me a real feeling for what it'd be like going to France, which is why we're doing this. You will go to France with your families when you're older. You'll be able to order a hotel room completely in French. My dad used to do this. He used to go camping as well in like Normandy. He used to always speak in French, and I was so impressed by it. And it's because he did it at school. You guys will have that skill as well. I don't want you to just do French for GCSE. I want you to go and experience France for the rest of your lives like I do. It is so worth it. It's an amazing place to go. So guys, that is what it's all about today. Let's go on to our role plays. You know how this works. Alors mes petits, vous savez ce qu'il faut faire dans les cahiers bleus, s'il vous plaît. Copiez les dates. Copier le titre du genre, voilà, jeu de rôle qui veut dire roleplay dans l'hôtel, et ici vous avez le contrôle de vocabulaire. Je pense que c'est le même contrôle de post-it que le cordonnier. Donc comment dire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 en français. Put me on pause, see what you can do when you got the date, title, and this you've had a go at the control de post-it. Restart me, I'll go through the answers and I'll tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. On y va. Alors mes petits, if you listen to me now, you are ready to start. So today, last lesson we looked at the vocabulary, we looked at the questions. Today you're actually going to be doing it. We're going to go through the GCSE role play where you will need to book a room in a hotel. So before that, we're just going to go through the vocabulary to make sure it's solid, because unlike any other subject, it's not like you need to know this answer for the exam. You need to remember this the rest of your life, so we've got to really go carefully and go through our vocabulary. Then we're going to do some reading where you'll look at like the script of the role play, and you'll have to sort it out and show me how well you know it. Then we'll do a listening where you're going to listen to people booking a hotel room and saying what they want just to model it. And then finally you'll do the role play yourself. You'll have a go, 10 marks, and you'll see in the time limit what you can produce. So I'd like to get through this lesson. That's what we're going to do today. You must know our question words. You should be getting 6 out of 6 of these from last lesson. So do you have? You say avez-vous, have you. What type is quelle sorte? How many? Combien de? Remember, like if you combine things, you're putting them together. Think about that. Count them up. How many are there? Combien de? Do you want? There's a few ways to say it. You can say vous voulez, going up at the end of our sentence. Vous voulez. You can say est-ce que vous voulez? Is it that you want? Or you can say voulez-vous? Want you? Love that. That costs. C'est ça coûte. And then is there? Il y a is there is. Switch it around and avoid the vowels. Y a-t-il is what you need. Right guys, We lit to these last time. Let's warm you up with a bit of vocabulary to get you going. On y va. Alors, let's look back to last lesson and let's look at this core vocab. No looking in your books. What do you actually know? Properly test yourself. I want you to put me on pause. Look through 1 to 15 in black. Look at the blue. Alors donc, et après ça, il faut dire anglais-français aussi rapide que possible. Par exemple, what type, quelle sorte, do you want, voulez-vous, a single bed, un lit simple, I would like a room with, je voudrais une chambre avec air conditioning, la climatisation. Yeah, this is going to be tough for you today. Mettez-moi sur pause et préparez-vous quand vous pensez que vous êtes prête. Recommencez la vidéo. I'll count you down and I'll start making them disappear. Prepare yourself now. I'll count you in. Alors, mes petits, if you're taking me off pause, you're ready to start. Good luck, yeah? I don't think you'll make it to the end. This is definitely the hardest quicksand we've done. You need to know this vocabulary. Let's see what you can do. Alors, on commence en 3, 2, 1, allez! First column is gone. Soyez rapide, mes petits. Second column down. This is the tough one. Allez, allez, allez. Et 3, 2, 1. Et c'est fini, mes petits. Right, guys, if you didn't get to the end of this, just rewind a minute and 30 seconds and have another go. Make sure you can do this. You need to know this vocab inside out. You might need to use it on the day of your speaking exam. Et donc, la prochaine chose qu'on va faire, on va mettre le vocabulaire dans les phrases complètes. Cette fois, les mots en bleu ne vont pas disparaître. They're not going anywhere. Rather, c'est contre le montre. Plutôt, c'est contre le montre. Pourvu, put time on your phone and see how fast you can go question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. Try this with no prep to see what you can do. All right, so set a timer on my phone. Check this out. Quelle sorte de chambre voulez-vous? Je voudrais une chambre avec 2 lits simples. Vous voulez rester combien de nuits? J'ai l'intention de rester une semaine. Vous voulez rester sur quel étage? Je veux rester au premier étage. Voilà. So, first three down. See how fast that was. No preparation. Put a timer on your phone now. And then pause me. See how quickly you can do the questions and answers, questions and answers. Good luck, guys. Pause me now and go for it. Alors, mes petits, bon effort jusqu'ici. La deuxième temps. This is what your role play will be like. I'm going to hit you with a question and you'll have some words solid in your head and then you'll have to add the rest on the spot, which is what we've got now. So I definitely give myself some preparation time. Cette fois, j'ai mis les questions et les réponses dans le bon ordre. Donc, question 1, la réponse est ici. Question 2, la réponse est ici, etc. Il ne faut pas chercher, choisir les mots. All in order. All you have to do is complete it. So prepare in your heads. Don't write anything down. And then start your timer and see how quickly you can do it. 5 words minimum. Let me give you an example. Question 1. Quelle sorte de chambre voulez-vous? Je voudrais une chambre avec une douche, s'il vous plaît. Easy. Vous voulez rester combien de nuits? J'ai l'intention de rester 3 nuits. Keep it simple, guys. That's what it's all about. Put me on pause. Have a go at this version of questions and answers and time yourself. On y va. Alors, mes petits. Right, guys, those are our 2 language warm-ups out the way. We've looked at the vocabulary and we've looked at answering on the spot and putting them in questions. Now, let's look at our contrôle de vocabulaire. You've got to know this inside out. So put everything away. Just look at the vocab test and test yourself on what you've got. Alors mes petits, aujourd'hui, le note d'admission, c'est assez difficile. C'est 8, je veux 8 aujourd'hui. Plus de 8, bon effort. Ici, vous savez ce qu'il faut faire. Pour question 1, 2 et 3, qu'est-ce que c'est en anglais? Pour 4, 5, 6 et 7, il faut mettre le mot ici dans les bonnes espace. That's not the answer to number 4, by the way. It doesn't say vu, très vu. We've not changed the ending. Donc, il faut compléter les phrases avec les mots qui manquent. Et vous avez un défi additionnel ici. Voilà. Alors, right, guys, I'm going to give you 5 minutes for this. Absolutely no looking back. No one is ever going to find out your mark on this. So it's just for you to see how prepared you are, to see how well you've been learning your vocabulary, and to see what you can do. 5 minutes, work through this and see what's what. Let me help you out on number 3, right? We didn't actually learn this. Something, your code. Where in the world do you have a code that you need to use in this context? Think about that. This one's hard. You will see this a lot on cash machines as well. You'll see this flash up all the time. Right, think about that. Alors, bon courage mes petits. Put me on pause. 5 minutes time. Recommencer the video and I'll go through les réponses. Bon courage. On y va. Alors mes petits, right guys, if you listen to me now, you're ready for our answers pour le contrôle de vocabulaire. Let's see how you got on. You must know this vocabulary. If you've got under 8, no point in carrying on here today. You need to go away and learn that vocab. This is your exam. A lot of people in lockdown, like I know a lot of teachers are setting like busy work. No way, there's no such thing as busy work with us. You've got to know this. This could be your exam. Think about that. So let's go for it. Le premier, voulez-vous or vous voulez or est-ce que vous voulez? It all means do you want. Remember that song I told you about? It's like an 80s song my mum likes. Voulez-vous? Check out. Alors, numéro 2. Pour combien de nuits veut dire for how many nights. Remember that word, combien, a question word. Number 3, yeah, I never taught this to you, so I felt bad, but I give you a pretty good clue. Voyez, c'est-à-dire votre code is, please put your PIN code in, or can you put your PIN code in for me, please? Voilà, anything like that, give yourself a mark if you're close. First 3 down. Numéro 4, c'est plus difficile. Alors, something, vu, une chambre de, s'il vous plaît, ça veut dire avez-vous une chambre libre, s'il vous plaît? Do you have a free room, please? Numéro 5, je voudrais une chambre pour une personne avec salle de bain et un lit simple. Voilà, remember, un lit simple is a single bed. Alors, numéro 6, je vais payer avec ma carte bancaire. Je n'ai pas d'argent liquide. Voilà, and this wants to say I'm going to pay with my bank card. I don't have any cash. Remember, cash is liquid money. Love that. Et finalement, le dernier, est-ce que le petit déjeuner est inclus dans le prix ou faut-il payer plus? A really nice sentence this says, is it that breakfast is included in the price, or faut-il? What does that mean? We know il faut faire les devoirs, il faut suivre les règles. Il faut is you must. So faut-il means like must I or must it pay more. So do we have to pay more for breakfast? Excellent effort here, guys. If you got 11 of these, let's just go to our final one. Our extra challenge down here. I would like a room for 1 with a double bed, a shower, and a beautiful view of the sea, please. This would be like the best first impression you could give an examiner in the role play. So your answers only need to be short in the role play, but if you put a bit of flair on, make that good first impression, the examiner will be blown away. This is what you should have. Je voudrais une chambre pour une personne avec un grand lit, avec une belle vue de la mer, s'il vous plaît. Guys, that would be perfect. Give yourself a mark out of 11. You need to have over 8 today. If you don't, you need to go and memorize. You need to learn this vocabulary. You've got to know it. If you've got over 8, bon effort, you have qualified to continue. Let's have a look at our next challenge. Alors mes petits, we're going to do some reading now, but it's a very different reading to what we usually do. So listen really carefully to the instruction and remember, help is there to help you out. You will be lost today with some of this vocab, so think about help and the tactics you'll need in the reading exam. Et voilà, I'm going to explain all this in French. Aujourd'hui, sur la feuille que j'ai mis ce frog, vous avez cette activité ici. Et regardez, c'est une conversation entre un employé et un client. Employé veut dire employee, someone who works there. Client veut dire customer. Ça, c'est le mot. Alors, donc, et la conversation, ce n'est pas dans le bon ordre. Par exemple, certainly, what sort of room would you like? With my bank card, please. Non. Alors, c'est pas dans le bon ordre. This isn't number one and this is number two. What is the right order? Et voilà. Donc, ici, en anglais, j'ai le bon ordre et il faut lire le texte et il faut trouver le bon ordre. Pour vous aider, j'ai utilisé les couleurs. Donc, bleu et rouge, c'est pour le client. Et jaune et bleu, c'est pour l'employé. Par exemple, il faut mettre le texte dans le bon ordre. Numéro 1. Do you have a spare room? So, that's number 1. In this column here, down here, I need to write the numbers in the right boxes. So, do you have a spare room? Blue and red. So the customer's asking, avec ma carte bancaire, s'il vous plaît. But it's not that one. Pour une nuit. No, that means for one night. Bonsoir. Avez-vous une chambre de libre, s'il vous plaît? Et voilà, this is good evening. Do you have like a spare room or free room? So this is number 1, a beautiful one drawn there. There we go. Let's make it more of a 1. Voila. And then the next one I need to find the employee saying what type of room. Alors, bien sûr. Quelle sorte de chambre voulez-vous? God, I'm good. Voilà, ceci c'est numéro 2. Donc, activité 1, carry on, find 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Il faut mettre le texte dans le bon ordre. Après avoir fait ça, complétez le tableau ici. What type of room is it? How many nights? How are they going to pay? And what about the breakfast? Et puis, le défi additionnel aujourd'hui, cherchez dans le texte pour le vocabulaire ici en français, mes petits. Alors, les enfants, right, guys, I will give you, let's say, 5 minutes to do this. What I'll do is I'll move the screen on and put the English and the French next to it to help you out. Voila, I think this is the most helpful screen for you for activity 1. Don't forget to in the extra challenge. Mes petits, vous avez 5 minutes. So put a timer on your phone for 5 minutes. And when it goes off, restart the video, recommencer la vidéo et je ferai les réponses pour vous. Bon courage, hein? Vous avez 5 minutes. See you in 5, guys. On y va. Hello, mes petits. If you listen to me now, you've had a go at this and you're ready for the answers. Tricky this, wasn't it? I'm sure you found it tough. It's all about working out the unknown. Let's go through it. Donc, le premier, do you have a spare room? We did this together. You should have this. Numéro 1. Bonsoir. Avez-vous une chambre de libre, s'il vous plaît? The response, what type of room would you like? C'était ici. Bien sûr. I love this. It means like certainly or definitely. French people always say it. It literally means well, sure. Oh, well, sure, like certain. Love that. Numéro 3, the client has to say the type of room they want and it's down the bottom. Une chambre pour une personne avec salle de bain et un lit simple. A room for one with a bathroom and a single bed. Le quatrième, l'employé lui demande how many nights? C'est ici pour combien de nuits, messieurs? Should be an S on the end of that nuit. And then they say the number of nights, just here, pour une nuit, for one night. How would you like to pay? C'est ici, oui, nous avons une chambre. Vous voulez payer comment? You would like to pay how? So that word comment, always, or it doesn't always, but coming at the end here is really common. And then numéro 7, the payment method is here. Avec ma carte bancaire, s'il vous plaît. Numéro 8, this is where I throw you a bit of a curveball because the speaking exam can throw these curveballs at you. Something like, can I see your ID? It's a word that you'll recognize. Et c'est ici, voilà. Très bien, veuillez saisir votre code. Avez-vous une pièce d'identité? Is something that you'll be able to pick out, une pièce d'identité, a piece of identity, an ID card, but it can be confusing. It can throw people at the time for the role play. So we're just looking at all the possibilities. Now you know that. Then they say, here's my ID. Certainement. This is a nice role play word. Certainly. Voilà mon passeport. So this would be a great thinking on your feet. A word like certainement and voilà are always really, really handy. And then the employee gives a summary. Merci, monsieur. Donc, chambre 215 au deuxième étage avec une belle vue sur la mer. Le petit déjeuner est servi entre 8 et 10 heures au restaurant. Passer un excellent séjour. We talked about this word. What does it mean? A stay or a holiday. So have a great stay, and that is putting our text in the right order. Give yourself a mark out of 10. So 10 pour celui-ci. This is tough because if you make one mark, you make one mistake, you make loads. Alors, et voilà, with that then, let's complete the extra challenges. So the room was a single bed with a bathroom. He was staying for one night, paid with a bank card, and breakfast was served between 8 and 10 in the restaurant. These are our extra challenges. So a spare room, you've got to know this, une chambre de libre, enter your PIN, saisir votre code. So saisir is like to grab really, so put in your code. Certainly, certainement, but you can also have bien sûr. Here you go, voilà. Therefore is donc, a beautiful view is une belle vue. Places in England are called Bellevue. There's a primary school when I was a kid in Wordsley, which is like, I wouldn't say a few towns over, but to you, like, you think a town's really big. So it would be like the other side of Sutton to you. And the primary school was called Bellevue, which is a bit ironic because it just looked out over this massive council estate. So there we go. Have a great stay is passer un excellent séjour, and then is served between is est servi entre. Right, guys, this is looking at some key language. All right. You've done this and you can work out the script, but today you're going to need to use this. So we want a bit more practice. Let's move to the listening. Alors mes petits, we'll be doing a role play ourselves today, but first I just want to test you that bit more in our vocab on the trickier skill of listening. Et voilà, vous savez ce qu'il faut faire pour les activités d'études pendant le lockdown. Donc ici, vous avez le site de web. S'il vous plaît, visitez le site de web ici, et quand vous entrez le site de web, il va vous demander pour un code. Donc, veuillez saisir le code ici pour moi, s'il vous plaît. Donc, il faut copier et coller le code. Donc, c'est parfait. Puis, on va écouter un enregistrement et on va écouter 1, 2, 3, 4 personnes qui parlent. Chaque personne doit dire, va dire quelque chose de cette boîte ici, which you write here, quelque chose de cette boîte ici, qu'il faut écrire ici, quelque chose de celui-ci, il faut écrire ici, et quelque chose de celui-là, une lettre de celui-là, il faut l'écrire ici. Voilà, donc il faut 4 lettres pour compléter la question. Donc, par exemple, A, E, I, M. Par exemple, facile. Donc pour chaque personne, il faut prendre les mots. Think about preparing before listening and what you need to do. So what I do next to all these beds, I write down the French. Lit simple, grand lit, deux grands lits, un grand lit et un lit simple. Voilà, I make sure I prepare so I know what I'm listening for. Now in class, we listen to this twice with no pauses. But today you're at home, you can do it how you want it. You can either do it like that, like a purist, and go for it to see what you get in class, or you can break it down, you can pause it more. I really don't mind. It's all about you listening and practicing in French. That's what we really want. See what you can do. Alors mes petits, that's the task for today. You've got an extra challenge at the bottom. They're going to say it's perfect, and I thank you, sir. Lovely. See what you can pick out here, guys. Listen to it, put the letters in here, 4 for each question. When you think you're done, restart the video. I'll show you the transcript and then we'll go through the answers. Alors mes petits, so guys, if you're listening to me now, you've had a go at the reading, the listening, and you're ready for the answers. Let's go through the transcript first. Put me on pause. Here's number 1. Read it through, check your letters, see what you've got. Et voilà, numéro 2. Même chose, mettez-moi sur pause, lisez la transcription, check your answers, and then restart me for question 3. Et voilà mes petits, la troisième c'est plus long, donc lisez-le, vérifiez vos réponses et mettez-moi sur pause. Et numéro 4, même chose, on y va. Et voilà mes petits, right guys, hopefully you checked through each of them and you're happy with your answers. This is what you should have. Question 1 was B, F, L, N. Question 2, A, E, J, O. Question 3, D, G, I, P. Et question 4, C, H, K, M. Right guys, I quite like that. There's some nice vocabulary in there to help you out. I just thought it was quite good. This has given you an overview of what this role play is about and how we need it to sound and what you'll need to do. Let's just go for our extra challenge. It's perfect. C'est parfait. And then thank you, sir. Say merci, monsieur. Or here they said je vous remercie, monsieur, which is so polite. Remember this, right? It's like a cultural difference between us and French. English is very informal. When you talk to people, you go into a shop in England, you're like, hello mate, or like they just don't say anything. They look at you like shiftily thinking you're going to nick something. They do not do that in France. If you walk into a shop, no matter what shop in France, they'll say bonjour monsieur, bonjour madame. And if you just walk past them and don't say bonjour, then they're going to think you're weird and rude until they find out you're English. So it's just a more polite culture. And like, imagine the guy in the shop by Glenthorne when you walked in saying, hello sir, hello miss. It'd be hilarious, but that's what they do in France. So this polite culture's there. We need to see this. So you've done this. You've done all the prep for a role play. Let's do a proper role play now. Let's go through how it works and see what you can do on this 10 marker. Alors mes petits, so guys, the role play, let's talk through it and explain what you'll need to do. Usually in year 10, you'd have done a practice speaking already. You won't do that now until about Christmas, so you'll get the feel for it. We're going to do loads of practices in class, and let's start with our role play and talk you through this part of the exam. So it's the first bit of the speaking exam, and in your prep time, you'll get 12 minutes to do a picture card, which you've seen a load of, but in that 12 minutes, you'll also have to work through your role play card as well. Now, the role play is not as simple and straightforward as we've spoken about, and it's because of this, they don't tell you what question you're going to be asked. It's a bit of a challenge on your vocabulary. They just simply put the basic idea of what you might be asked to help you prepare. So what you need to do is read everything you've got. So talking about daily life, and it tells you here the scenario. So this is now on today, but this is a proper one. You're in a clothes shop in France. The teacher will play the roles of the sales assistant. And then it says, in a clothes shop in France, you're speaking to the sales assistant. And then it goes through these, and you need to work out what you're going to be asked. So here it says you'll need what clothes you want. So I would like a t-shirt. Boom, that's 2 marks. Description, I would like a blue t-shirt in size extra large, please, my size. That's what you need to put in. So you get the idea. When you see an exclamation mark, this means I'm going to hit you with a secret question. When you see a question mark, you've got to ask the question. So here, essayer is our verb to try. So you need to say here, can I try it on? Or where are the changing rooms? Now, this looks really hard. You might think this, look at this and think, what? We'll do loads and loads of practices of these. And what almost always happens is when you get one on the day, you'd have already done a very similar one to it in class. You'd be like, oh, thank God, I know how to say this and I know how to say that. So it looks hard at the start. You will practice these loads. I'll give you a booklet full of them for your revision, and you'll be able to do well on this. So guys, it's all in your 12-minute preparation time. Same as the picture card. You can make notes and write down. So if you're a role play, you can write down the questions you want to ask and what you want to say, and come into the exam and read it out. But remember, it's exam conditions, no dictionary book, nothing, just purely the French in your heads, which is why I've been pushing the vocabulary so much today. All right, so the idea for the role play is to keep it simple. This is what the examiner does for each question. You just get 2 marks. Now this is quite an exam board way to put things. This is basically what they say. So if you don't communicate your point, if your pronunciation is Saturn and the examiner wouldn't be able to understand you, you get 0. Also, and this is the big one, if you don't change your verb correctly, you get 0. So for example, it's je voudrais une chambre, I would like a room. But if you say or je veux une chambre, I want a room, the infinitive is vouloir. If you say je vouloir une chambre, that's incorrect. You can't do it. You get a 0. So to get the 2 marks, you need to change your verb correctly. you need the right, like the perfect sentence. So if you say, I want a spare room, you said, je voudrais une libre chambre, a free room. That's not the way you say it in French. You say une chambre de libre. So you'd only get 1 mark. To get the 2, it's got to be perfect, and you've got to have good pronunciation that's understandable to a French native speaker. Now you'll get that. Think about that for each one, how to get 2 marks. So this is your card today. On the sheet, you've got this version, which is the candidate version. You've also got the teacher version, obviously, because you're at home. Don't look at the teacher version. I want you to test yourself properly. Put 5 minutes on your timer. That's like plenty of time, more time than you'll have in the exam, and read it through. So you're in a hotel. Your teacher's the hotelier, which is like the person who works there. You must address me as vous, and then you're talking to them. Where you see a question mark, ask a question. Where you see an exclamation mark, it's a secret question, so you can't prepare for that. So I've given you the questions today. Would you like a room? What type of room? So you need to answer these questions in a full sentence and think about how to put this into a question. The extra challenge. Remember what we said about flair and standing out and first impressions. This is what you can do. So for what sort of room, you can say, je voudrais une chambre avec une douche, s'il vous plaît. Fine, 2 marks. You'll still get 2 marks for this next answer, but you might just drop a seed into the examiner's head of how good you are. You could say exactly the same thing. Je voudrais une chambre avec une douche, s'il vous plaît. Aussi, je voudrais une belle vue de la mer et il faut la climatisation parce qu'il fait chaud. Now that is the same 2 marks as my first answer, but you're just dripping into the examiner's head. They'll think this is a confident candidate who knows their stuff and speaks good French, and that will get you marks later on in the assessment. It's worth it. Extra challenge today, whack me with some extra details. So put me on pause, prepare yourself, and then when you think you've prepared all you can, there's not a lot to prepare, there's only 3 questions you can do, 1, 2 and 5. Restart the video and I'll tell you about what you need to do next. Et voici le right, guys. Now you can look at the teacher card. If we were in class, I'd get one of you to be the teacher, the other one to be candidate, and go through and then swap over, but you're on your own, I'm afraid. So what I'm going to do is I'll do this properly. I'll do the teacher card and you need to do the candidate card. So this is what it'll look like over here. In the exam, I'll show you on my fingers what number I'm doing. So I'll go like 1, 2, 3, oh, you can't see me, but I'm putting my fingers up now to show you the number I'm on. So you need to go through that. And then all you need to do is answer the questions. What I'll do is I'll whack my video on to help you out. Et voilà. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to put my hand up to show you what question I'm asking you, and then you go for it. Obviously I'm going to have to do a big long pause because I don't know what you're going to say. So you can pause me after each question and answer, and then restart the video and go for it. Right. Have your notes in front of you. I'm going to hit you with question 1. So in the exam, I'll sit you down and I'll read through it and I'll say this top line. I'll read to you, dans un hôtel, vous parlez avec l'employé. And then I'll look at you and I'll say, bonjour, je peux vous aider? Put me on pause and answer. Vous voulez quelle sorte de chambre? Vous voulez passer combien de nuits, monsieur ou madame? Vous voulez payer comment, monsieur, madame? And then for number 5, you've got to ask me a question. So what I'll do in the exam, I'll do this, and then hit me with it. Oui, il y a une grande piscine chauffée. Et voilà, right guys, so think about your answers, and what I want you to do is give yourself a mark out of 2 for each one. Think about our mark scheme. What mark would you give yourself out of 2 for each? Did you conjugate your verb? Did you make a correct sentence? Was your pronunciation good? Give yourself a mark out of 2 for each of these, and a total out of 10 for me, please. Alors mes petits, that's it for today then. How happy are you with your assessment? This role play will be coming up in your November or late November exams for your mocks. Are you going to be ready for it? This will be a good test for you. The role play, yes, it's a simple part, but if you don't know the vocab, you don't know the scenario, it can be really, really tricky. And it's the first part of what is definitely the most nerve-wracking exam. It was for me when I was in year 11. So make sure you're prepared and make sure you're ready for it. Hopefully you're feeling more confident. Hopefully you enjoyed that today. Guys, alors, bon effort aujourd'hui. I'll see you next time where we're going to do some writing. The writing assessment is coming up for next lesson. I'm going to talk about that now as part of your homework. Et voilà. Right, guys, so the final week we'll be doing writing assessment. The last piece of writing you'll do. Now, last time we did some writing assessments, some of you did some phenomenal work that I was so happy with. The feedback I thought was really good, and I really took time to give you some proper feedback. Others, like so many of you, just use translators. I didn't even mark it, and it just went down as no work. And I've told Mr. Bracken I want you in homework club from next year to catch up in year 11, because you'll need it, because it's just a waste of your time. If you're doing a writing assessment and you're just using a translator, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just say, sir, I can't be bothered to do your homework. Fine. Like, much prefer that. Like, that's the straight way to do it, mate. Tell me straight. Obviously there'll be repercussions, but let's not pretend. Yeah. So this is what's going to happen. I have set my class this already. You can go on this and you can fill it out. I know there are other teachers will have sent you this. This is your long list. Now, when it comes to year 11 and revision, this is going to help you out, because all of these questions here, they're all possible exam questions. And on the speaking exam, right, when you're doing the speaking exam, I have this booklet in my hand and I'm picking questions at random off this list. So for your preparation, what I want you to do is write the perfect answer for all 10 of these questions. So the perfect answer, guys, what can you do? Just up to, let's not go to 10, we've only done up to 6. So just up to 6, don't do any more than this, you've not studied it, just up to 6. Answer these questions in perfect detail as much as you can. Save it on the site, so I'll send you this on Frog, and then you can upload this and keep it. And the reason we're doing it on a site on SharePoint is then I can read it, I can correct it, I can help you out. So make sure you do it on there. Type up your answers to these 6 questions and practice answering them, because next week I'm going to pick 4 questions at random out of the 6 and you'll have to answer them. So make sure you're ready for it. So that is your homework for next time. Get on it for me, guys, and that'll be, I'll make it a double, so that's your final week, the writing assessment. So we'll do a warm-up and then you'll do assessment, but it'll be the 2 lessons. And I'll set your summer homework as well. I'm also going to post your summer homework to you in case something happens on Frog and you don't get it. So all of that's coming your way, guys. Alors, great effort today. Looking forward to seeing you all in September. Looking forward to getting sort of back to normal. Alors donc, merci, à la prochaine fois. Au revoir.